Oh God, I was not planning on. I wasn't planning on being back so soon, guys. But there has been a petition made for Isayama to write a satisfying alternate ending. Now, if you thought this video was going to be me telling you, you need to sign this petition, that's not what I'm here for. I'm just letting you guys know that it exists, okay? They're asking for 10K signatures. They have 7K. So to everybody who comments that, oh, we're just this and that, no, don't believe anybody, okay? A lot of people are upset by this ending. It's not just me. So please do not come here and comment. Well, whatever. I don't know. Do what you want. I don't really care, I guess. But it ain't just me, y'all. This ending was weird. It was weird, to say the least. It was weird. Okay? So let's just go through this petition right now. The details. I'll read it to you because why not? Currently, wait, should I use a mocking voice? That's gonna make it sound stupid, even though I agree with this person. I agree with the person who made this petition, but I did read somewhere that it's like the highest dishonor to do something like this. So it's controversial. It's a hot topic. I agree that I don't like this ending. And I do wish that, yeah, I would like an alternate ending, a more satisfying ending. I would, yeah. But just reading up on it, I did read somewhere that it's like the highest dishonor to do this to a mangaka, when I respect Isayama a lot. So I personally wouldn't make a petition. I didn't say I wouldn't sign one. I mean, it's there already, and it has 7,000 signs, pledges, or whatever. So the dolls are mad, Isayama. The dolls are mad. The chads are mad. People are upset. I'm upset too. So I get it, Again, I'm not saying whether you should or should not sign this petition. I'm just letting you know it exists. Am I going to post a link to it? I don't know. I don't know if I should. I don't know. But just know that, no, I won't post a link. But just know that it's out here. It's out here. Okay, let's go through it. Hold on. Let me say the title, because that would be cute of me. Write a satisfying alternate ending to AOT. Currently, Shingeki no Kyojin, or Attack on Titan, was one of the greatest manga series I have ever read. I believe a lot of the fandom is very disappointed with the current ending. The ending feels very rushed to me and to a lot of the fandom. The ending overall feels very thematically different, giving a lot of fans tonal whiplash. Perfect way to put that, just as a side note. Just a little side note. Tonal whiplash is the perfect way to put that. I love when people put things I've been saying into like a concise, two-worded thing. It's so quick, it's so easy, and it completely encompasses what I was thinking. But I'm not so concise, especially with the unstructured video like this. Feels very rushed to me, and a lot of fandom feels thematically different, giving a lot of fans tonal whiplash. Perfect. Now, this ending doesn't ruin the whole story, but it does feel somewhat off. I agree with that as well. One example of this would be that some panels almost looked like something out of a comedy series. Pretty sure they're referring to the Reiner, the Gabby flipping Falco over. The ending message is also quite disturbing. A little girl, or founder Ymir, was, quote, truly in love, end quote, with her pedophilic captor who had also raped her. Something just feels off about romanticizing something like that. It was quite literally called love. All of a sudden, the character's motives change. Okay, well, we're gonna pause here. To this, if I were Isayama at this point right here, I'd be like, F you, it's my story, da-da-da. This shit happens in real life or whatever, right? I wouldn't say he was necessarily romanticizing it. I don't think he was romanticizing it. But it is gross. It does happen in real life. It does. It's disgusting. But I do feel like it was just a cop-out, you know? Isayama had Eren free Ymir. He hugged her. You're not a god. You're not a slave. You're a person. Help me put it into this world. He freed her in that moment, right? So then in this chapter, he had to somehow make it so, teehee, haha, she isn't free, she isn't a slave, she isn't blah. Well, she is technically free. Okay, she's captive by choice. She's a slave to her love. It was never about waiting for Eren to free her. Someone who understands her heart like Eren did. It was never about that. It was just she was in love. It's a retcon to the plot now. It's like this new additional thing just to make it all make sense at the end. And it's trying to be sold as like a twist, a plot twist. Ooh, caught you off guard here. Haha, LOL. But it's not well done. And he has a point. It's off. Moving forward, all of a sudden the characters' motives changed. Mainly Eren Yeager's goals. Everything in the story now feels rather pointless. I agree with this. Characters like Mikasa Ackerman and Historia Rice now feel sort of wasted. I agree. Everything feels far too different from the story that we've come to know. Another disturbing message is how Eren simply did everything for the fact that he, quote, doesn't know. Another unfitting thing is, Eren in the previous chapters told Mikasa to forget about him, yet in this chapter his entire character contradicts himself by forcing Mikasa to only love him and to be obsessed with him for years. This doesn't feel thematically correct with everything that has occurred within Attack on Titan, and the ending feels very out of place. The romance itself could fit perfectly if Eren was a tad bit less creepy about it. It's just odd he wants her to love him for years even after he dies. He doesn't even want her to find another man. That seems more like obsession, which didn't sit right with some. On that point, I agree it was off-putting. It was pretty off-putting, but you can't deny their attachment, their attraction or whatever to each other, I guess you could say. Again, I don't think it was at the level of selfish, like, deep, steamy, like, young adult novel film love like it's portrayed here in his final moments with Armin, I guess. I don't think it was at that level yet because we never get any breadcrumbs to showcase that from Eren at all. And there's even a side where, I think Eren does he get kidnapped or something? I don't know, but there's this scene where something happens to Eren and everybody's like, oh no, or whatever. And Mikasa's like, he's gonna be so upset that he can't be by our side anymore. Or my side. I don't know if she said our side or my side. And the rest of the cast look at her like, this bitch is so crazy. Like, even Armin looks at her like, what the fuck? And it's just like, right. So, like people are saying, it is portrayed as Mikasa being kind of a one-sided love kind of thing. Like, deep, like, I love you, I want to stay by your side forever. We don't really get that from Eren, so it just feels pretty off at the end. To get that literally in the final chapter. His feelings for Mikasa are a twist too. That doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth. Why should his feelings for Mikasa also be a twist? Anyways, that's not what we're here for. We're here for this petition. Where was I at? Years after he dies. Yeah, the anti-ending haters, people will say, oh, he's just a teenager, and he's expressing in his final moments his love for this girl. You cannot sit here and say that doesn't feel off. Sure, he's a teenager. Cool. He's a teenager who calmly and collectedly destroyed Libero. Very much in control of his emotions. And, okay, we're getting off topic here. That just seemed really, like, off. Okay, anyways. It felt like the ending gave the rest of the characters plot armor, which is quite strange considering Isayama had zero problem killing characters a few chapters ago. Hanchi, for example. The main victim of this ending was Eren, who loved his mother dearly. But somehow he was the cause for his own mother's death. Somehow he led the Titan to his mother, causing her death. Now this is being debated, was it Eren, was it Ymir, was he just a bystander saying, oh, it's inevitable, this is the only path that'll lead to my friends living, whatever, da-da-da. But yeah, that did not sit right with me at all either, because his mom is the first person who, loved him conditionally, and yeah, it's not great. It's not great. That being a twist too, also not great. It just feels like, why are there so many twists in the final chapter? Right? If you disagree with everything I've said and this petition says, you cannot sit here and tell me with a straight face and be intellectually honest and say that this story shouldn't have so many twists in the final chapter. Moving on. A very large portion of the fandom, from what I've witnessed, believes that Kodansha or Isayama's editor have heavily influenced the ending to perhaps fit a more shonen type of ending. In Japan, the studio and editors typically have more power than the author himself. Example, when the editor changed Sasha's death, which was originally going to happen when Sasha battled the Titan in Season 2. Not only that, but Isayama did not even write the final note to the reader. It was the editor. The ending didn't seem happy, but nor did it seem dark enough. It was a little too ambiguous, leaving many important questions up for debate, though this is mere speculation. Now, I cannot speak for the whole fandom, but I've seen hundreds and hundreds of fans, including myself, express how disappointed in how characters were simply wasted, and along with how the story did a complete 180. I also agree with all of this. Now, the stuff about the editors and whatnot, that is all speculation because we really don't know. And it did seem like Isayama was on the fence with which ending to do, because he changed it a few times, remember? And then we got the whole panel, You Are Free, with the baby and the man. That was supposed to be the last panel and stuff, right? So he was juggling his own ending, in his mind. So we just want the Isayama cut. We want the original intended ending, Isayama. We come outside. We ain't gonna jump you. Nah, for real though. We just want. Well, I can only speak for myself. I don't want something that is gonna end the way I want it, my way or the highway. I just want something that thematically makes sense, that ties up the loose ends, that just makes sense. Not like you decide your own ending. So, yeah, I did feel like this did a complete 180. I forgot the name of the channel, but this video I watched yesterday, they said that basically elements that were introduced in this last chapter have become the skeleton of the story now. Everything else was the flesh, right? We got the flesh. And this chapter has become the skeleton. So now, with what we see in this chapter, when we go back to watch the show, we have to now sit with this ending. Eren wasn't even deciding to do that right there. Oh, he's following the path. Ymir said, Eren actually likes Mikasa. So now we're to view this scene like this. It's just... It's torturous, to say the least. Okay, we're down to our last two stanzas here. The overall tone doesn't fit, and the final panel makes zero sense to many. As Grisha mentions to Eren how he is free, which would not make sense since as Grisha quite literally forced Eren into being a Titan from what it seemed. But the last few chapters, mainly 137 through 139, suddenly got convoluted, causing the story to be incredibly confusing. There are still several large unanswered questions. What happened to the Titan parasite? Did the Titan shifters in the paths die? Because it seems they can survive death. Why didn't Eren control the Titans he made? And so many more. So I could actually answer some of these questions, I think. Going off of this, the chapter we got, going off of the logic in the chapter, not any good logic, he didn't control the Titans he made because he wanted to die, right? He wanted his friends to kill him so he would be a hero. Even though we got that whole Pixis scene when he's like, that shit's dull and that would never work. And now here his fat ass is doing it, right? It's obvious something, they had to change something. They flipped something. They skipped something. Yeah. What else is in here? What happened to the parasite? Yeah, that was stupid to kill that off of screen, because we kind of needed to see that. We needed to see that battle. We needed to see it go poof. If it in fact went poof, we needed to see that, I think. And then I forgot, I'm so sorry guys, I forgot whose video it was, but they said that imagine a scene of watching like paths just be destroyed. That would be so beautiful. And man, if Isayama went for that, I could just imagine like the art. That would be beautiful. Or if even Mappa went for that. Anyways, going on. Eren forced. And the Grisha, you are free thing. Some of the people who are defending the ending are saying, oh, it's ironic. Grisha's saying he's free, and Eren's looking back, and he reacts to it in paths because, haha, this whole time he wasn't free. So it's ironic, apparently. But it still leaves, like the worst taste in your mouth. And it's complete retcon, I believe. Anyways, last paragraph here. Along with that, the Alliance easily beats our antagonist. Throughout the whole story of Attack on Titan, the power of friendship has never prevailed. So why is it different here? Why does the trope talk no jutsu work? There were several other issues, but the main problem was that the story's conclusion felt very unsatisfying, and too tonally different from the story the fandom and I have grown up with. This is by no reason. Whoa, this by no reason means you should go and harass the author, Hajime Isayama. I do hope this can do something. And that's the end. Yeah, the Armin talk no jutsu was pretty annoying. And I'm not so sure as to why it worked this time. It would have been very sweet, thematically. Because we see when Armin does his talk no jutsu in the beginning, Eren is not a monster. They're still ready to fire the fucking cannon at him. And he's about to until Pixis is like, hey, stop. Hold on. Remember that? His talk no jutsu doesn't work in the beginning. Because that's human nature. It doesn't work like that. Especially when I see this monster in my face. How is the talk no jutsu gonna work? I'm looking at the monster. That's how it was in the beginning. Now, here they are. These people just stomped out 80% of the world. I found a plot hole earlier today. Paradis is right across the ocean from Marley, right? How is it that 80% of the population was wiped out by these colossal titans and not the nation right next to Paradis? Were those colossal titans just going super slow then? Were those specific ones going to Marley just taking their little time? And the rest of them were running? The rest of the colossal titans were running across the world to kill 80%. And the ones that went to Marley were just taking a slow stroll. I don't understand how 20% of people were killed. Well, 80% of people were killed. And the last Marleyans, we still have some surviving Marleyans. Makes no sense. I don't get that. But maybe you can explain it. I don't know. So we have this petition here. I certainly would highly appreciate the Isayama cut yes, I would. I want the Isayama cut, and I think it needs to be released. In conclusion, guys, if I were an author, I'd be very touched that people care this much about my series. I am not an Isayama hater. In fact, I love the guy, worship the ground he walks on. This chapter just ain't it. And I don't think you guys realize how much it hurts me to sit here and be like, this shit isn't making sense. This is the guy who gave us chapter 122, 121. Like, how is this the same work? Like, this ending is just so appalling. I'm hoping my disgust is thinning out. Like, I'm really am hoping this is going to be the last video on this until the extra pages come out in June, right? I really am hoping that, I can relax. But I care about this series a lot. This was my favorite series. I literally grew up watching this. Like, literally grew up watching and reading. Since 2013, I was the one in high school, before anime blew up, right? Before manga and anime were cool. I was the one hiding my screen in class so I could read the new chapter when it came out. That was me with Attack on Titan. The first manga I ever read, and it's appalling the way it ended. And I think we have every right to feel disgusted by this because it is rushed. Because the time skips it's so drastic. I'm sorry, it sounds bitchy, but if you're satisfied with the ending, you couldn't have cared about it as much as the people who aren't satisfied. You couldn't have. If you're 100% satisfied with that ending, you couldn't have cared about this series as much as the people who are making videos about why it doesn't make sense. Now, a link I will put in my description is a video I watched yesterday, which I referenced to a couple times, where he concisely points out everything that went wrong with Eren's character, and the story altogether. It's not just me, and I don't think it's fair for you to make it feel like it's all in our heads. Like, there's fucking problems with it. There are. And we're just upset fans right now. And if you're happy with the ending, we envy you. We wish we could be happy with it. I wish I was happy and satisfied with the ending I got, but I'm not. And if you still have your doubts about this was Eren's character all along, I urge you to watch their video. Like I said, I'm not structuring these videos because I do intend to delete them later. But it's just, literally watch the first 15 minutes of that video. They talk about the character assassination. I will never be able to give it to you as concisely as they put it. It was character assassination, and that's my biggest gripe with it. If the ending made sense, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care who lives or dies. I wouldn't care. It just needed to make sense. It needed to make sense, and I needed to have no huge questions at the end of it. That's all I was looking for. And it needed to not make the whole story feel pointless. Because that's how it feels. This petition is absolutely right in a lot of spots. Everything feels worthless. He didn't really accomplish anything. He didn't. He literally says verbatim, I will not leave Paradis's fate up to chance. And that's exactly what he does in the end. He leaves their fate up to chance. Now, Isayama said some stuff about his original ending was irresponsible, yada, 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 and he didn't want to send the wrong message out or whatever. I'm paraphrasing heavily here. And he probably thought that's what the genocide would have meant, a bad message or something. But no, it would have made sense for the story. We know genocide's bad. We're not going to try and do a genocide because the story, But we just needed the Isayama cut. You're an Isayama fan, right? We all love Attack on Titan, right? So in this way, if he does give us an alternate ending, we're getting more content. Nobody loses this way. Nobody loses. If you're a real fan, you want to know what he intended for the ending. And this isn't it. Hashtag release the Isayama cut. Goodbye for now.